Hey, Renter Retires, it's Adam Schroeder here with another episode, joined as usual by Zach Lemaster, the founder and CEO of Rent to Retirement. And we are pleased to be joined today by Logan. He is a senior account executive at Hemlane. We are going to talk property management today. So, Logan, thanks for joining us.
Guys, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So, y'all are in the most beloved space of real estate, I would say, in the world, and that is, the property management space. So, tell us a little bit about what it is, like kind of what people mostly need help with, and kind of how y'all fit into the space.
Yeah, you bet. No, great question. So, uh, ultimately, Hemlane's an alternative to traditional management. It's also a very beneficial for individual landlords if they're looking to kind of just self-manage their properties. Key value adds with Hemlane is you have that full visibility and transparency inside the day-to-day, which simply you just don't have with majority of PMs. Mind you, there are some very good ones out there, but yeah, it's honestly quite unique in the sense where you can have you're in control of those key decisions at all times, right? You can set thresholds, especially for maintenance and repair. We see a lot of clients rave about that aspect of what we do over here. Definitely the focal point of the product. We can provide you with a 5-star vendor network with boots on the ground to handle any of those nitty gritty repairs. We always work within your limits, so you never have to worry about outrageous quotes with us. We have 48-hour SLA agreement with those guys. But ultimately, it's your one-stop shop for everything you need in terms of rent collection, finding new tenants, pre-eviction, and it's quite unique. And we are totally kind of creating a new category for how rentals are managed across the U.S.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's how I would classify you guys. Logan is a industry pioneer and really kind of redefining property management because you guys are very unique. And that's why we're having you on today is because Hemlane has been just a godsend for a lot of our investors. As Adam was being facetious in the beginning about property management, like this is the hardest thing. This is where the most complaints come from. You can have the best property in the best location that if it's not managed appropriately, it's not successful. Right. So the management is a real key piece of your long-term success in owning a property. And this is where a lot of our complaints come from. We have a lot of property managers that do good for a little bit and then they don't. And then, and people are just always asking questions about accounting and maintenance and this and that. And, there's just not a perfect solution, but you guys are close. But if I had to summarize like what I think Hemlane does, because I'd like to hear from you as well. But what is interesting to me about Hemlane is you guys are an online company with extensions to local markets, pretty much nationwide and in most metro areas, where you leverage the leasing agents and the maintenance repair people and have a very clear vetting process locally, but you're managing really online. So this is what is happening here is that you're technically self-managing, but you're leveraging teams and systems to make it much more efficient and easy self-managing. So when I think about like the bullet points of why someone should consider this, and I do encourage everyone to at least have a conversation with Hemlane to better understand this and see if this is the right fit for you, whether you have one property or 50. Because this could be a unique way for you to have better performing assets, save a bunch of money, save a bunch of headache, etc. But the key benefits for Hemlane, I think, is that one, it's you have visibility on everything. You can automate a lot of things, so the decisions are somewhat automated, but you have complete transparency about everything happening in the house. The second would be that you can have a central point for management and accounting across all your properties in different locations. Third, being that you're self-managing, you can more easily likely qualify for real estate professional status, leveraging tools and resources. So self-management isn't a nightmare. And fourth, you guys have support. It's not just a software program about self-managing with some accounting built in. It's like you guys have representation to actually guide and coach people through building a productive portfolio. So when they have questions, they can ask them. I know I was long-winded, as I tend to be, but did I miss anything in that? Anything else you want to add to that?
Honestly, you kind of hit it right on the head, Zach. It completely, especially the support That is one key difference. Like, you have dedicated account management to kind of handhold, walk you through the processes, make sure you have everything you need and getting full functionality of the platform at all times. You're not talking to any, chat bots or anything like that. So it's very much in real time. And even if you're an out of state investor too, the nice thing with us is we have 3 different tiers of service that we offer. So maybe you do want to be, fully hands off and automate, about 95% of that workload for you. Completes great. But at the same time, we have 2 other plans as well that are more catered to our users that want to be a little more hands-on with things while still having, that full visibility and transparency. A lot of out-of-state investors do enjoy using our platform, as we can practically put the rentals on cruise control, allow them to focus on growing and scaling the portfolio. And it's honestly just a pleasure to be a part of. To the backing behind the company is tremendous as well. I had the opportunity to sit in on a couple of investor dinners and just to see how bought in they are on the product, and they're just really firm believers in terms of where everything's going. Our CEO, Dana Dunford, is very much on the ground floor of things, very involved in the day-to-day. So just to kind of see her buy-in as well is honestly quite amazing to be a part of.
I mean, one of the reasons, full transparency, I'm looking into y'all, probably going to be using y'all in one of the markets I'm in, is Zach hit on it, and that's maintenance. You start feel like you're getting nickeled and dimed and not as much transparency in there. Tell people a little bit when it comes to the network that you're talking about, the vetted maintenance network. Is that something where like your tenants uploading a photo and then you're getting, as many quotes as I'm asking you to, or, because maintenance from afar has been the big holdback of.
Yeah. How does that work? How does that work in leasing? Those are key points. It's like, all right, if I'm self-managing, and like, how do you lease the property and do maintenance on it if I don't want to be doing that myself?
Yeah. So in terms of the leasing, we can do inspections for you at the drop of a hat. We have a rent-ready service to handle any kind of those repairs in between tenant turnover. And then there's a couple of ways we can give you a hands-off experience with actually placing you a tenant. Firstly, we have an in-house service called tenant placement, where we conduct virtual and self-guided tours using digital lockbox technology. So all depends on if you're comfortable with that. All of the prospective tenants will have to undergo biometric security scanning to confirm their identity, provide us with a government-issued piece of ID. With that one there, I always describe it like renting a car. Once we have all that information on file, it is pretty secure. At the same time, though, some of my clients just aren't comfortable with not having that physical presence on the ground. So we've built out a plethora of agent connections too, all over the US. All of our agents that we partner with are thoroughly vetted through the platform. So they would just utilize our marketing syndication, monitor all the inquiries come in, utilize all of our screening tools, except they'll be, local on the ground, conducting those showings with the tenants. And then in terms of the maintenance guys, without a doubt, the focal point of the product. So you can set thresholds in your account, so you never have to worry about outrageous quotes. We only work with vendor companies that are above a 4.6 stars in terms of their ratings. It's very much of an internal ranking system, tenant landlord ratings, as well as Google, Thumbtack, and a couple of others that we pull those from. If you're not happy with a job, the nice thing with our landlords and investors is you have that voice in the room where you can just let us know. We wouldn't send them back out to the place if you guys are unsatisfied with how something's been handled and simply get blacklisted from that vendor list. But a lot of our vendors are very attentive to the work that does come through Hemlane, as we do service over 30,000 units across the US. So it tends to be a pretty good chunk of their income if they are producing good quality work.
Yeah, that's huge. And as we're talking about this, I already thought of a fifth point that I forgot to mention previously, and that's just better performance, which is honestly probably the main point, right? Like, everyone wants their properties to be less hassle and optimal performance. That's the ideal scenario of owning rental real estate. But it is still physical real estate, and management is a business, right? So but having better performance on your property is really what it's about, which ultimately leads to higher income for you, better return on investment, and having tenants that stay in your property longer, reduce your vacancy both on initial leasing, having transparency and control over maintenance items, because there is such thing as death by 1,000 paper cuts with maintenance for property managers. We've all been there before. Adam's always complaining about that to me, but better performance on your property means more income, more money at the end of the day. I think it's funny that people get, and you guys actually have very attractive fee structures. Like you said, you have 3 different tiers, and this can actually be a way to save money on the fees. But I just think it's funny sometimes, Logan, that people, the first thing they ask is about property management fees, as if that's like, 1 or 2% is really going to make the difference at the end of the day. I get it. It's a piece of it, but like they're missing like the thousands of dollars from having better performing assets. That's going to make a significant difference. So I would put that in there. But the reason we have you on here is because this is something we've constantly tried to figure out. We've had some complaints from people about, that's the biggest complaint we have in our business is, people frustrated with management, or management's not communicative, or there's just issues with personnel, whatever the case is, transparency. Like, this is the one thing everyone's trying to solve. And our clients that have used Hemlane have raved about it. You guys have retained 100% of those clients. There hasn't been a single person that's left. And they have positive things. I think overall you guys have like a 95% retention rate, but people that use you like you, and they see the value, and it becomes much easier to now stand up new investments all across the country and still have the same process. You're not having to create a new relationship with a new manager. So I'm super stoked about it. And I know we've seen great success with the clients that, that have used you. So Adam, how can people contact Logan and the Hemlane team if they have questions just about management? And Logan, can anyone contact you? Do they have to own a bunch of real estate?
Not at all. Not at all. And some of the users that you provide us with too, Zach, haven't closed on rental properties. So more than welcome to carve out time out of my schedule to kind of just set the floor and show them what we're all about here, even though it might not be immediate, just to kind of maintain that long-term relationship. But we have a plethora of resources I can always send over their way too, if they don't want to jump into a live demo yet, but I'm more than happy to, get some live ones going and contribute in any way I can.
Yeah, so the link will be should be down below us. If you're watching on YouTube, will definitely be in the show notes on YouTube and on your audio platform. The last question I have for you that I think is crucial for people as they look at your, at your offerings is, you mentioned those 3 different levels. Who would you say each level is for? Because how would you tier them in terms of, Adam, you want to do this, so you should go to this one?
That's a great question. So honestly, our basic service, which is kind of just that fully hands-on package, that one would just be for users that want to be fully hands-on with things. It's kind of DIY, do it yourself. A lot of our bigger clients with, teams already in place, 200, 300 units, with maybe a property manager already there, can just add them into the system and just utilize kind of the tools we built out. Our essential plan, big difference between the essential and that complete plan, which is like your alternative to a traditional manager, is ultimately the vendors. So on essential, you need to provide us with the vendors to reach out to. We'll still coordinate everything top to bottom for you, process invoice payments to your vendors as well. But that complete plan gives you access to that premium network where there's no markups. We have a 48-hour SLA agreement with them. And so that is kind of the main difference between that two. But that essential plan is kind of your middle ground in between being, fully hands-on with things and fully hands-off, where there are some tech-enabled services involved. But for the most part, it'll be pretty hands-on. And then that complete solution is where we can practically put everything on autopilot for you.
All right, fantastic. So so go to the link that's in the show notes. You can check out Hemlane, like Zach said, a lot of success there. Worst case scenario, you learn something about property management for the future. Some people are scared when they first start, and then they realize as they get into it that, it's a viable option for them. So make sure to check out the link. Tell them you heard them through us, and they'll help you out all along the way. So to everybody out there, really appreciate the time you spent educating yourselves today. We'll talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Want to earn passive income every month without the hassle of property management? If you're an accredited investor or high net worth investor, PPR Capital Management offers a proven solution. Since 2007, PPR has helped nearly 2,000 investors earn over $100 million in consistent, predictable, passive returns. Headquartered just outside Philadelphia, PPR manages a $1.1 billion diversified portfolio designed to provide steady income and long-term growth. With decades of in-house expertise, their team strategically mitigates risk to help investors achieve their financial goals. See how a PPR fund could fit into your portfolio by visiting pprcapitalmgmt.com/rent to retirement. That's at pprcapitalmgmt.com/rent to retirement. 90% of real estate investors miss key tax savings by overlooking deductions. Flipping houses, managing rentals, or growing your real estate empire? Make sure you've got experts in your corner, especially when it comes to taxes. That's why we turn to Nevada Corporate Headquarters, the experts who help us reduce taxes and set up our real estate LLCs. With 35 plus years of experience and 17,000 five-star reviews, Nevada Corporate Headquarters helps you manage properties across states, navigate tax laws, and protect your assets, all with a real estate LLC. Visit nchinc.com/RTR to schedule a free real estate LLC formation and tax consultation. Plus, receive a free guide to safeguarding your assets.
Thanks for watching the Rent to Retirement YouTube channel. Check out some of our other videos, like this one, or this one here.